What's up, guys? Back again finally. It's been a little bit, but we had bad weather. Then I got sick the 1 week we had nice weather, and then we went back to bad weather, and now we're back to good weather. So it's time to do another video. Today we're gonna be riding the 72 Trail 70. I've had this for about a year and a half. I just redid it this recent winter, and it's only been on a couple rides so far. Make sure we got gas, no fuel gauge on it. Probably about half tank, probably fill up on the way home. Will she start up first kick? That's the question. First kick. So I built this thing mainly as a show bike, but I put a Tbolt USA 108cc big bore on it so I can actually go around and, ride it. I wanted to be able to do something with it other than just look at it, and there's no fun in that. So I'm going to take it out for a little bit, finally get a video again, and do something unique. She died. You don't see a lot of content with these old little Honda 70s. I mean, they're getting kind of rare now. They're more so collectible than anything. I love riding it. It's different. I'm just going to take shoulder. I don't want to ride highway, but for where I'm at right now, highway is like the only option I have to get to, the side road. So, backstory on this bike. So, my grandparents had this since long before I was born. My uncle used to ride it and happened to, he beat the thing pretty bad. He blew it up. It sat in a barn for about as long as I've been born, a little over 20 years. Grandparents always said they were going to restore it. Never got around to it. I've been trying to get it from them forever. And then just recently, about a year and a half ago, I finally got it from them. And then it took me up until this recent winter to restore it. I was thinking about doing a whole build with a Grommen, or I guess originally a Grom engine. And then I decided I was going to put a Honda Monkey motor in it. Honda Monkey motor, forks, rear swing arm, everything. And just really modernize it and build it into a modern bike. Then the DAX came to the US and I saw one in person. Decided that's definitely never going to happen. It kind of got a fire on me to want to restore this thing. And then it took me about 2 months. I worked on it 7 days a week, put in several hours, and here we are. It's restored. Like, people used to buy them cheap, feed them. They weren't very fast, but they were a blast. You go jump them off stuff. I'm sure people wheelie these things, at least a little, to some extent. But it is literally just a 1972 Honda Grom. They came out in '69. So this one would be a K1 model, which was 72. I think the 72, 73 was K1. I could be wrong, but K0 would be the 69 to 71. Both really sought after. This big bore, I can cruise a comfortable 40 on it, about 45. The speedometer's accurate up until close to 50. So far, my least favorite part about this bike, like as far as riding goes, on top of going slow, the shifter is like a MotoGP shifter. It's a semi-auto bike, so there's no clutch to worry about. But you click down to shift up, and it throws me off so bad. When my first ever ride on this is only my third ride on here. My first ever ride on here, I went from the top of second, I went to shift, and I ended up going into first. Fresh motor, no miles on it. This is like 10 miles in, and it worried me so bad. It felt terrible for the thing. But I haven't really had any issues with it. I need to rejet it. It cuts out a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out the jetting. I need to keep going down the size. I went down 15 cc's on the jet. It's running better, but it still has a little bit of a choppiness into it when I'm just trying to cruise. But I hammer it, it moves good. They only weigh about around 150 pounds, so they don't weigh anything. It literally, this does not feel street legal whatsoever. literally feels like a little mini bike. If you ever get to a point where you're trying to restore one of these bikes, finding parts surprisingly isn't that bad. You'd think it'd be kind of difficult because how old it is, but there's so many people redoing these, there is a ton of aftermarket support. Oddly enough, Honda makes a fair, they don't make a lot of parts for it anymore, but they make a fair amount of parts for it. So the tires on it, I ordered brand new from Honda. I couldn't believe that that was the thing. Honda still has Bridgestone produce these tires for them. I think these tires work on both the 50 and the 70. The 50, I believe, is the same size wheel. I'd be surprised if it was different. Factory, these were rated at 4 horsepower. So I can only imagine how terrible that would be to ride on the road. Factory, people say these things can do, I've heard anywhere between 35 and like 50. I cannot imagine how hard it would be to get one of these to 50 miles an hour with 4 horsepower. That'd be like running a Grom at 80. And a Grom's rated at 7. But the Grom has the gearing at least. This thing doesn't have the gearing. It shows the top of 3rd gear on here is 45 miles an hour that it runs out of gear. This thing feels like too nice to be riding on the road almost. Everything on it's brand new. I rebuilt the motor. I did literally everything but paint it. At some point, I'm gonna find a little Honda Z50 hardtail. I'm gonna redo it, and that one I'll make videos on. I'll do a build series. This one I happened to build right before I got talked into getting a GoPro and starting to learn how to record. So of course, you know, it's literally right after I get this done that I decide to start recording stuff. Because this thing would have been an awesome little video. I tore it apart in my kitchen too, so recording would have been easy. I built the motor in the kitchen. I put the bike together though in the garage. The bike did not go together in the kitchen. It's a little rattly, little wobbly. The wheels are split rims, so it's a 3-piece wheel. You take the center of it and you bolt the sides of it together on the center. So, and they're so small you can't really balance them or anything, so it's kind of just going 45, 50 miles an hour. It's going to shake a little bit, and there's nothing you can do to fix that. Alright, we're going to hope I don't put too much gas in it. The gas tank's only 3/4 of a gallon, so it doesn't take much to overfill it and spill it over the top, unfortunately. This bike, I probably won't do that many videos on just because it really won't get rode much. It's more just a showpiece. It sits in my buddy's shop in his waiting lobby, his detail shop. And it's more, yeah, literally just for shows. I might take it to, you know, cars and coffee events. Might take it to a couple actual car shows and like I'll ride it to those. But for the most part, it's gonna be just a show bike. Wonder how fast I'm actually going right now. The speedometer kind of keeps bouncing around, which means I'm right around that, you know, 45 plus range. I need to look soon when we get back how it's doing on temp. I don't have much farther to go. Temp gauge looks a little high right now from what I can see though. It's very hard to tell. This big bore kit, I'd like to keep the oil temp below 260, which is even a little hot. But without the oil cooler, I'm not too worried if it is around that point. It won't hurt it. But if we start getting up to, you know, the 270, 280 range, even for any higher, that might be a point of failure. And then I'm gonna have to figure something out with riding this thing. All right, so we're at 140 Celsius. That is definitely a little hot. Let's see, I don't know Celsius very well. Let's 140 Celsius to Fahrenheit. Oh, that's 284. Oh, that's not good. Alright, I guess that's today's video. Thanks for watching, and now if the weather stays nicer, I'll be able to start posting more again. So, till the next one.